that they want to communicate. Okay, so certain questions we want to ask ourselves is what exactly do they already know about what you're going to tell them or communicate with them? Okay. Secondly, what is it that they do not know that you are going to fill in the gaps? And thirdly, what is it that they also need to know that they also want to know? They must have an interest as well. Okay. With all this in mind, then you can shape the way you want to communicate with them. Because if you just go in blindly without understanding who you're going to talk to, they're going to lose interest. You may be diverging in your communication. You will not be reaching them the way it should be. Okay? So just remember, you need to understand the audience better. Now, the next one is this. I'm going to touch on something with you. Okay? How to understand people. The next step. So I'm going to go through a little bit here about how you can understand people and adapt the way you communicate with people like that. Okay, so let's go through this. Now I'm going to show you 4 very dominant types of behaviors that people have. And remember, this is from decades of observing people. I realize that this is not just from my observation, but when you do certain types of personality traits, personality tests or something, they always boil down to these 4 types of behaviors. Okay, so I call them B-O-L-T. B stands for the bull. The first one, the bull. I think you met people like that before. They're very, very direct to the point. You try and explain something and they listen to you for a while and then they tell you, hey, wait for a while. Wait. Do you have this in a summary or not? Don't waste my time by telling me the long story. You got something for me to read, I will read it myself. Okay? They are very straight to the point. And when they want to communicate with you, they can be very blunt. They can be very direct as well. Okay? So this is what I would call the bull. Is it blue? Okay, on the Zoom, right?
On the Zoom is
Okay, click on the visual. When you share screen, click on share screen. No, it's not here. It's not here. It's not here. It's not here. Close this. Okay, I just close it. Go to share screen. Click share screen. The green button. Okay, hang on. Can you go back? Okay, I wanna make the text clear. So just click on share screen. I'll show you what to do.
here.
Okay, sorry. Click on this. Click on this. Okay, sorry. Just make it very. I want the screen to be clear for you. That's right. Okay. So I'm sure you'll come across people like that where when they talk, they're quite aggressive. They're very hard. They tend to sound very like a bull. Okay, they really charge their way across something. I know some of you are going to say your bosses are like that. I've come across that also. Okay, now the next one, I call this person the owl. The owl. Okay, no, just the owl. Now this kind of people, right? They want to know everything. You bring up a topic and they got 1 million questions to ask you about what happened. Okay, the cat jumped over the wall, for example. I'm going to use the example in a while. But when you say, hey, today I saw the cat jumping over the wall, you know what they're going to ask you? Hey, the cat was what color? How big was it? Where was the table? How did they jump? How high was it? But what was the cat doing before that? They want to know everything. Okay, they are very detailed. They are very analytical. They are focus on the entire story or what you're trying to tell. They want details as well. So that's why I call very brainy, big eyes, owl. The third one, okay, is a very fun person. He's friendly, he's okay, you know, you'll see him all the time that, hey, how's everything with you? Everything okay? How's your family? Going well? All right, man. Hey, and they will talk about almost everything under the sun just to be friendly, jovial, you know, no worries, that kind of thing. Okay? This way. So there are these kinds of people as well. I'm sure you come across people like this. They are like the life of the party, that kind of thing. Okay. If you're in Singapore, I think you'll understand when I say Gurmit Singh, he's something like that. Okay, the next one, the final one. There are people who are very calm. I call them the lamb. They are very calm. When they talk also, they talk very calmly, you know, cannot like shock them or something like this. And they're very concerned about you. When they talk to you, they will ask you, how are you? How's your family? How's your goldfish? How's your this? How's your that? Before they can even come to the point. And these people can also be very long-winded when they want to explain something. So you got types of people like this, right? So the next one. My question now to you is this. Do you know which one are you? If you already know which one of the four is your dominant one, right? How do you like to be communicated? It's the same way that you're going to communicate with these people, these four different traits. Okay? This way. So now coming back to the story of the cat jumping over the wall. I want to tell each of these people about the cat jumping over the wall. Okay? But there is a way to explain to each of them. Now the first guy, let's talk about the bull. The bull. How do you communicate with the bull? Okay, first, get to the point. Hey bro, the cat today jumped over the wall. Now I did not say it in a calm way. I said it in a very confident way. I went direct to him and I said it straight to his face. Okay, this way. So that is the kind of way that you can communicate with people and get your point across straight. They like people who are confident. They like people who know their work. They don't like people who are very to the point. Okay, like that. Do not even think of giving a long-winded story to them. Don't even think of doing the A to Z. Don't even tell them what happened before. Start with the point. If they ask questions, then you tell them a bit more, and a bit more. This way, they will respond to you in a very positive way. They like you. They found that they can communicate with you, okay, at the same level. The second one, when we talk about the owl, remember I told you they like all kinds of details. So when you told them the cat jumped over the wall, they're going to ask you a million questions. They want to learn about everything. They want to know what happened before, what happened after. Is the cat safe in the first place? You know, oh sorry, cat safe is the lamb. They want to know why in the first place the cat did it. Okay, they want to go right to the heart of it. So these kind of people, when you talk to them about something, please make sure you have researched the subject very, very well. Because they might know a lot more about a subject more than you. Or when they know you're going to talk about a subject, they will spend time beforehand researching the subject so they know what to ask you. Okay, so you need to have all the information on hand. You must be ready for all their questions they're going to ask you. They want a lot of details, you give them details. Ladies and gentlemen, they'll be your friend for life if they do that. Okay, now let's go to the third one, the tiger.
Could we be more than one?
This is what I call the dominant profile. We are all four of them, we are like that. You know, a man can be a bull in the office, aggressive, but at home, he's a lamb in front of his wife. Darling, how are you? Everything okay? Dinner ready? Everything all there? Okay, then very, very well. Okay, at home, we know who's the bull. In that sense. Okay, the tiger. I'm sure you have met the tiger. I think in many ways, right? They are the joy. You know, talking to them is very easy. Anything you say, they won't judge you. They will accept it. It's easy to talk to them. You know, you can begin by having small talk. Hey bro, yesterday, what did you do yesterday? What did you do last week? How was it today? How's the weather and everything? And he will say something great and all. You break the ice with them very quickly, and then you come to the heart of the matter, what you want to tell them. And you know what? They will be able to accept it straight away. They are like that. It's very easy to talk to people like that. But there's only one problem. Whatever's going through their mind, you won't know. They will not show it in their face. The bull is very aggressive. You can see it on his face. The owl, very focused. But the tiger is hiding inside. You do not know his feelings. You do not know what he's really thinking going through. He will say, yes, it's good, fantastic, all that. But at the end, he's not convinced. Okay? But you got to find another way to talk to them, convince them, these people. But just be friendly with people like that, and they might take 3 or 4 times you explain things to them, then they will get it. They want to learn how to trust you. That's all. Okay? Finally, our lamb. You tell the lamb, hey, do you know something? I say, yeah. Today, the cat actually jumped over the wall. Really? And this is the first reaction. How did the cat do that? Now, did you see the way I talk to them? Be very calm, be soft-spoken, be friendly. Don't be aggressive with people like that, okay? You cannot be very forceful with them. When you see the way that they're talking like this with you already, you know you just have to be very calm. Control your words, don't be too fast, and just be a little bit slow so that they can catch up with you this way. Okay, they are centered on having everything done very calmly, very softly this way. So get into their comfort zone first, and then they can trust you. Then you can start talking to them even more. That's how you get some better responses from them. Okay, so this is the 4 I can talk to you. I could go on and on about it, but basically all kinds of how you say psychometric tests or behavioral tests or something boils down to these 4 traits in people. You just got to adjust and adapt the way you communicate with each of them. Okay, great. So I'm going to take a break now, and we have something else that we want to share with you.
Yeah, thank you so much. We'll give him a break, and then because our whole program is being sponsored by SAA, Singapore Morgan Group, a slight intro, just less than 2 minutes, talking about investments mainly for Cambodia market. So we just want to do a little intro about how the current Cambodia market is. We have a slight video play, less than 2 minutes. Yeah.
In the 1st century AD, the Bonam dynasty established one united kingdom, and the history of Cambodia started. In the 9th century AD, the Angkor dynasty flourished and fostered the prosperity and national strength of Cambodia. The ancient country, boasting 2,000 years of history and civilization, which is long-lasting. Today, standing at a new historical starting point, Cambodia is regaining its resplendence. Cambodia stands out as a hub of international strategies, with the Belt and Road Initiative is leveraging the potentials of incoming investment. The Trans-Asian Railway is the new trunk line for future development, with integration of ASEAN countries, is to be a new summit of economic growth. Cambodia, known as the new economic tiger of Asia, is in the golden period of rapid development. It has reported an annual GDP growth of 7% for 9 consecutive years, ranking top 1 in Southeast Asia. Its splendid culture and enchanting history attract 4 million tourists from the world every year. Phnom Penh, the capital city, as a national center of economy, politics, and culture, holds more than 60% of Cambodia's economic resources. As a result, the real estate price of Phnom Penh is growing at a steady annual rate of 10 to 15%. Global investors are allured here, bridging the global economies. The fortune promised by Cambodia is self-evident.
We start with the blank screen.
So, okay, we are back. So we will give to continue the thing. We will have about maybe 20 to 30 minutes more.
About 30 minutes.
Yeah,
about
that's
that.
good.
Okay, more things to share with
Yeah,
you.
great.
I really hope you've been enjoying it so far, that there's some pointers that came to you about this. Okay, so the next step, what I want to share with you is this. Let's start with this particular question. If I were to ask you, exercise is good for you. So let's talk about someone like me. Okay, you don't know me, and you see me for the first time, and I'm going to tell you, hey guys, did you know that exercise is actually good for you? Well, let's say 50-50, they may believe me, okay, because they see I'm wearing a jacket, look very authentic, very real. They can trust what this guy is saying, okay. But what if, right, this person says exercise is good for you? If he comes across and tells you, Gina, exercise is good for you, will you believe?
I would think, oh no, am I sick?
But is it believable?
Yes, of course.
It is believable,
Definitely.
right? For sure. But you don't know anything else about him but based on what he looks like and something. Now, let's put this guy aside. I'm going to bring you another person. If this person says exercise is good for you, do you believe or not? We all know what happened in the last 4 to 5 years, how they talk and things like that. Do you trust this person? That's the question I can ask you. You see the difference now, right? You don't know them. You don't know them personally. You don't know them in reality, but it's just based on what? First impression, right? I'm coming down to the next topic about convincing people to listen to you. And this is about building trust. Trust and your credibility go hand in hand. The more credible you are, the more they trust you. It's like that, you see. So let's go into how do you establish credibility and appear as being very authentic to people. It's authentic people. Another word for it is being genuine, the real you. People don't like people who come with a lot of drama. They are just like trying to psycho them or things like that, sales talk, that kind of thing. But are you talking from the heart? And there are ways you can do that. So let's go through some steps. Okay. Now, this is very important. The way people see you should correspond to the way you also see yourself. That particular area where people see you and where you see yourself would what I call your authentic self. In there, the next, okay, your authentic self. Okay, because you may appear in many different ways to different people, right? They see different facets of you all the time, but you yourself know genuinely who you really are. If that comes across and people also see the real you, that's being authentic already. Okay, that is what we want to aim for. And let me share some ways you can look at to be more authentic, which is basically how do you project your own personal brand to people. See, what they see is what you are. Okay, that's it. First one is your appearance. Do not discount the importance of appearance, because first impressions last a lifetime. They can judge you by the way you look, by the way you dress, the way you talk, the way you present yourself, like that, right? First impressions count a lot this way. So I've been talking to you for the last 35 minutes. You would have formed an impression of me as well from the beginning and where I am right now, based on what I've been sharing with you. Same way, think about the kind of friends, the kind of people you come across in your life, the ones who appear very authentic to you. How do they look? How do they project themselves? things like this. Okay. Second one, your own personality. How do you engage people? This is coming to EQ. Do you understand yourself well or not? Are you able to show courtesy? Are you able to show love? Are you able to show warmth towards them? Do they feel comfortable in your presence as well? That counts a lot. Work on that. If that is missing, please work on that. Okay. And the third one, what is your skill? People will veer towards those people who are experts in talking about certain subjects, certain things. If I want to talk about entrepreneurship, I will definitely want to listen to Jack Ma. He's done it. He spent a lifetime building and doing it, and what he has achieved up to today. If I want to know how to start a transport company, like a taxi company, I will speak to people in Grab because they walk the talk. They had the skill. They did it as well, right? So what kind of skills are you going to project to people that they will listen to you being an expert in that subject area? Today, people can pick up skills very quickly. It's all out there. Finally, what sets you apart from other people that they will want to listen to you and not to others? No, let's look. Let's be realistic here. What you can do, I think 1,000 other people can also do. There are many people who are doing the same thing. They're presenting the same, they're sharing the same thing. But why should they listen to you? It's because of what is unique about you. And you can project that, you can push it out to them. They will remember you for life. Okay? And these are basically some of the ways you start building up your authentic self, your branding, in that sense that you are what they can see. The way you look, the way you project yourself, the way you behave towards them, the way you explain things, the way how good you are in something. They come together to form who you are, which is your personal brand. And that's what you're projecting to people, right? And in the end, that's the kind of person that they will respond to as well. So now let's talk about building authenticity. I got a video I want to show you. Now, I came across this video in one of the TED Talks that I tend to follow, and I was very, very impressed with what he had to share. So much so that I could share the same thing what he did, but I want you to hear it from the horse's mouth himself, how he explains it, and if you can take it to heart, you got it there. Okay, so let's listen to this man. His name is Julian Treasure, and he's got something to say about authenticity. How do we do that?
The human voice. It's the instrument we all play. It's the most powerful sound in the world, probably. It's the only one that can start a war or say, I love you. And yet many people have the experience that when they speak, people don't listen to them. Why is that? How can we speak powerfully to make change in the world? What I'd like to suggest, there are a number of habits that we need to move away from. I've assembled for your pleasure here 7 deadly sins of speaking. I'm not pretending this is an exhaustive list, but these 7, I think, are pretty large. Habits that we can all fall into. First, gossip. Speaking ill of somebody who's not present. Not a nice habit, and we know perfectly well the person gossiping 5 minutes later will be gossiping about us. Second, judging. We know people who are like this in conversation, and it's very hard to listen to somebody if you know that you're being judged and found wanting at the same time. Third, negativity. You can fall into this. My mother, in the last years of her life, became very, very negative, and it's hard to listen. I remember one day I said to her, it's October the 1st today, and she said, I know, it's dreadful. It's hard to listen when somebody's that negative. And another form of negativity, complaining. Well, this is the national art of the UK. It's our national sport. We complain about the weather, about sport, about politics, about everything. But actually, complaining is viral misery. It's not spreading sunshine and lightness in the world. Excuses. We've all met this guy. Maybe we've all been this guy. Some people have a blame thrower. They just pass it on to everybody else and don't take responsibility for their actions. And again, hard to listen to somebody who's being like that. Penultimate, the 6th of the 7, embroidery, exaggeration. It demeans our language, actually, sometimes. For example, if I see something that really is awesome, what do I call it? And then, of course, this exaggeration becomes lying, out and out lying, and we don't want to listen to people we know are lying to us. And finally, dogmatism. The confusion of facts with opinions. When those two things get conflated, you're listening into the wind. You know, somebody is bombarding you with their opinions as if they were true. It's difficult to listen to that. So here they are, 7 deadly sins of speaking. These are things I think we need to avoid. But is there a positive way to think about this? Yes, there is. I'd like to suggest that there are 4 really powerful cornerstones, foundations, that we can stand on if we want our speech to be powerful and to make change in the world. Fortunately, these things spell a word. The word is hail, and it has a great definition as well. I'm not talking about the stuff that falls from the sky and hits you on the head. I'm talking about this definition, to proclaim enthusiastically, which is, I think, how our words will be received if we stand on these 4 things. So what do they stand for? See if you can guess. The H, honesty, of course. Being true in what you say, being straight and clear. The A is authenticity, just being yourself. A friend of mine described it as standing in your own truth, which I think is a lovely way to put it. The I is integrity, being your word, actually doing what you say, and being somebody people can trust. And the L is love. I don't mean romantic love, but I do mean wishing people well. For 2 reasons. First of all, I think absolute honesty may not be what we want. I mean, my goodness, you look ugly this morning. Perhaps that's not necessary. Tempered with...
Okay. We continue?
Yeah.
Okay. So there you have it. I mean, what Julian Treasure has actually said, I'm going to summarize in a minute what he just said. These are what you call the 7 deadly sins of communication, right? And if you really think about it, what if you have you ever come across people like that? The ones who just like to gossip all the time. Can you trust them with your own story if they're going to end up gossiping with other people? You see that? Your response is going to be very different if you know they're like that. Those who like judging, those are very negative about everything. You tell them something only, they will only think the worst part of it. Why in the first place do you want to even talk to them? You know, like that. So if you take a look at the list down there, basically, I'm sharing this with you so that these are things that you should not do. If you're already practicing any of them, please start deleting them from your vocabulary, delete them from the way you have been behaving. All this behavior translate to your communication as well. Remember, we are talking about being authentic. You want people to respond to you based on who you are. Don't be a person like that. Okay, so that's one. Second one he talked about was what you should do instead. Number 1, be very honest in all that you say. Honesty is a double-edged sword. It can be something very useful so that people know something, but it can also be painful and you're trying to hide something. But you know, if you're very open and just be there, direct with them, they know they can trust you. And trust is the most important factor in them responding positively towards you. Secondly, of course, be yourself. Don't be someone else as well. Okay. And if you have promised them something, you are a man of your word, keep to it. And finally, show warmth, show love, show that you really care, you know, in something like for people like that. So these are things that if you can inculcate them even more in your daily behavior, you will see how communication with people also changes. It will happen like that. Okay. So now I'm going to go jump to the next one. And it is, of course, also your body language, looking the part on this. It's not enough that you have to just practice that, but also make sure it communicates from the way you project yourself, your body language. I'm sure you have come across this, you remember this particular graph chart that shows you that, what's the percentage of communication that comes from verbal, from body language and all, right?
Yes.
So we know that body language comprises 55% of communication. Another 30% is your tone of voice and all that. It's only about 3 or 5% which is based on the words. Your body language counts a lot. in communicating with them. So you got to look the part, you got to play the part, and you got to be the part. Okay, that's it. So now for the next one. Now, you remember I kept talking about the cat jumping and landing on something, right? So the cat jumped and it went somewhere. So I'm going to tell you, Gina, yesterday I saw the cat jumping very high. But what if Gina heard something else? In her mind, she deciphered this as saying something else. She could think of a cow in a grass and in the grass instead. What happened? It means that something blocked my communication to her. It could be an obstruction. It could be something that she didn't hear very well. She didn't trust me or something. I call this the noise that breaks communication between people. They did not get what I'm trying to tell.
Is it like a selective hearing, or is it
That's part of
something
it.
on their mind?
That's part of it.
So how do
Exactly.
you solve this?
Let's jump into this particular area. Okay. So this is something, also based on my observations, based on my learning along my life, how people actually teach others for communication. I got this particular ones from this lady, Celeste Hadley, in one of her TED Talks as well. She talked about, the 10 ways to have better communication. So instead of the 10, I've narrowed down to a few, which I think is very relevant for all of you. First one, unplug yourself from everything else when someone is talking to you. What am I talking about? I'm talking about being present. If they are talking to you about something, can you clear your mind about something else and just focus on them? Listen to what they have to say. Unplug yourself from everything else. Be present. Focus on them. They can tell. They can tell from your body language and your eyes. I mean, like one day you want to have a serious conversation with someone. You sit down and talk to them. What's the first thing they do? And you're talking, but they're looking somewhere else. Or they may look at you, but you can sense that they're not getting it. Remember, one of the key about communication is feedback. Ask them whether they got what you're trying to say. And if they say something else, it means there's already dissonance.
But nowadays, to ask you, there's a lot of people who doesn't even like to do eye contact when you are sitting opposite and talking even, So how do you get the attention back?
You can always double check with them. Say something, Tom, or something, something very serious to tell you. Yesterday, my cat jumped over the wall and she hurt herself. So Tom is sitting here. I see. So, Tom, you heard what I said? Yes. Okay. Your cat actually jumped over the wall and the cat hurt herself. Yeah, that's what happened, Tom. I came to seek your advice. I may be looking down or something, but actually I heard you. Yes, I'm not in the habit of saying looking at the face direct. But these days, we wear masks. And if you have someone wearing a very nice mask like that, look at the mask, don't look at the eyes. I'm just kidding. Okay, so that's one way. Okay, unplug yourself on that. The second one I want to share with you is when people come and talk to you about something, about a subject area, or maybe something that they have got involved in, you may have assumptions about that. You may have thoughts about it. You may have opinions about it. Please don't start jumping in and throwing all kinds of things at them about what they just did that way. Okay. So for example, they want to buy a car. They want to buy a Nissan instead. But you have never been in favor of a Nissan. You prefer a Mercedes or something like that, right? So what's the assumption that you're making to them? You say, yeah, why you want to buy Nissan or something like that? How do you think the person felt when you started doing this? Like that. Yes, you have assumptions, but can you please keep it aside? I know you got something that you really want to tell them something about it. Can you please hold on? Enjoy your friend's conversation with you and then go with it as well. If they want to do that, why don't you support their decision? Okay, on this. All right. Okay. So now let's talk about Johnny. Johnny listens to his friends talk, but Johnny does not wait or his moment to say something. Johnny is very calm. Gina, be like Johnny. What am I saying? Basically, go with the flow. It's similar to what I just said earlier on. If the person has started the conversation and is going on about it, you're showing interest in it, go with it. Ask questions, So you got Nissan. Hey, what made you start liking Nissan? Oh, great, right? Okay, good. Or something like that. They talk about the wheels, you talk about this. Go with him. You see? Don't start jumping in. Don't start, criticizing or things like that. How great do you think the conversation can get when you do something like this? You're creating an environment of trust. The response is going to be fantastic from them when they like you. Okay, so the next one, I like this a lot. I want to share this really with you. So sometimes you meet old people. The traditional story, right? When I have to take the bus, I have to go 30 minutes or 40 minutes, I have to travel all the way to that place over there. It takes a lot of time. And what does the person tell you? Hey, hello. When I was your age, okay, we didn't even have shoes to walk that far. Okay, and then we had to walk with our slippers or something. Oh, today you got buses to take. That time I had to walk and cycle. Hey, guys, are you listening to his story in the first place? He's talking about his experience, his incident, or whatever it is, of going somewhere and continuing the story about that. But why do you have to bring your story into it, about your time or something like that? Is that what the topic is all about? Is it about you or is it about him? You see? Don't equate your experience with them. Please, don't do that. Avoid this habit. Listen to them, go with the flow with them. Okay? If they ask, anything like this ever happened to you? Yes, in my time, it was like that, this way. So that's something I want to share. I think of all of them, right, I would say that listening skills is the most important of all. Why I say that? Take this quote from Stephen Covey, the author of 7 Habits. Most of us don't listen with the intent to understand. We are just listening, waiting for our chance to reply. Think about it. The guy is telling a lot of things, but are you focusing on what they're telling? Or are you waiting for your chance to reply to what they are trying to say with your assumptions and your thoughts about something? Are you like that? I found many people are like that. I found myself caught in that also many times. But is that what builds trust in the first place? Coming back to that again. So we should always practice active listening. I mean, you can pick up skills in active listening from YouTube or from books or anything like that. You can practice it as well. But I'm just telling you that, try not to do this habit of always waiting for your chance to reply, rebut, things like this. You won't build trust. You won't build that warmth or that engagement with them if you do this. So how do you even expect to get positive response? End of the day. Okay. Now, I'm going to skip this part about the test. I'm going to go to the final one, the barrier. Guys, do not be long-winded. Okay. A conversation should only be like a miniskirt, short enough to retain interest, but long enough to cover the subject. In other words, I'm asking everyone, be brief. You got a point to make, you got something to say, keep it short and sharp and tell them that. If the interest is really there to say more, they will ask you questions, they want to know more, then you can expand. You can go on into it or something. But don't go into a conversation thinking that the person is ready to listen to everything you have to say about it.
But miniskirt also get the attention for people to listen to you.
That is the first impression part. You attract them enough, right? But don't go and lantern the whole story only about the miniskirt. Yeah, that's it. See, they get bored after a while.
True.
This thing. See, I'm going back at the end. I'm going right back to the start of my talk. What was your purpose in the first place? Remember the plan? You need to have a purpose. What was your purpose in communicating with them about something? So are you going to make it very long-winded? Or are you going to go brief for something first, and then from there you gauge, and then you expand, you continue like that? Okay. So in the plan, you want to understand the people that you are talking to. So I covered something on understanding people. You can understand their behavior and where they're coming from, how they react, how they communicate. You can adapt yourself the way they will respond to you. Okay. But building trust, very, very important. Get some tips earlier on about your personal branding and what actually you project to people. It must be the same thing as what you project yourself. That is the area that people will see is the real you. Okay, and they will trust you. Then we talked about overcoming certain negative habits in communication, the gossiping, the complaining, and things like that. If that is a habit, please start working on it as well. Get rid of it. Finally, certain barriers of communication, we find a way how to overcome it. First, you got to recognize yourself. What are you doing wrong? What has been the bad habits you've been having? Start working on it. Okay. So before we leave, I got one last advice to give all of you, which is when your mouth is shut, then your mind will be open. Like that. Okay. And then you'll be very open for people to talk to as well. So that's the art of good communication with people. Because you notice that the trend here is not really about the communication, it's about you, the behavior, yourself. That's what it counts. Okay. So I hope you enjoyed the last about 55 minutes of sharing what we've had. And for any further questions or anything, I mean, you want to get in touch with me, I have my number is right there. I'm available on WhatsApp, on other sources. You need to email me, is there. But I'm open to everybody just asking for tips and advice. I'll be able to do that. And one more thing, I will be providing a series of courses and workshops, which is only about 1.5 hours long, about there. Not just in Singapore, but across the whole of Southeast Asia. It's going to be very virtual. So look out for them. If you want to be informed about what they are and you want to be updated what they are, get in touch with me. Okay, I'll keep you informed. But so until then, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for having me here tonight.
Thank you so much for coming, and then we hope to see you often also in our Thursday talks. And I believe that it was very much insightful. Not only for us, we have a shy audience today. So we
maybe
don't
one or
have
two
much,
questions if you want me to help.
questions down here, unless my team has some questions. And there's one question.
Okay, I see there's someone asked about how do we elicit feedback from an audience that have no feedback or questions? Oh my God, there's so many ways. So many ways. Okay, if you're asking a trainer, right? I mean, for a trainer, we have a whole big audience of people that we are talking to. We can always use the hard copy method, which is basically pass them a feedback form and what they can say about it. Because sometimes people want to remain anonymous, but they want to really share their thoughts. Give them a piece of paper. You don't have a particular form, never mind. Just get any piece of paper and ask them just to write something and just pass it to you. That's one. Secondly, they can always email it to you. They can always text you or something like that. If they want to remain anonymous, they can do that. Or you can also ask directly. So ladies and gentlemen, did you get what I wanted to share with you today? Is there anything that I left out or I did not explain better or in a proper way? Ask them directly as well. Okay, if it's one person down there, you can keep on asking, did you get what I was trying to say here? Did you get what this one meant? If you're trying to explain something, okay, you didn't get it, let me draw it up for you or something like that. Did you get it now? Did you get it now? Feedback. Okay, that's how you do it. And what tips do we have?
We have
Authenticity more easy and accessible in a conversation. Oh my God, look the part. Look the part. Okay. Now remember the doctor and Donald Trump. Remember that? You start off by creating the first impression. Don't discount that fact. Okay, you got to look the part. You got to play the part. If you've got something very serious, you want to talk to a friend, to someone about it, you want to really listen, you really have to look that part as well to come and talk to them. Do not be so shabby or it's old or something like that. Look professional, that they are willing to respect you and listen to you immediately. So that's the first step taken, because impressions split in a split. Okay, in the blink of an eye, they form such impression right at the beginning. So if that part is covered, 50% is done. Now the way you talk to them, the first words that you use, the first sentence that comes out of your mouth, the the warmth that you show in the way that you talk to them, the way you actually reach out to the kind of person that you're talking. Are you showing confidence as well in the first way that you talk to them, because it's a aggressive person you're talking to, it's a soft person or something, and then also the way you bring closer to them. It covers about who you are talking to. Okay, if you go back to that part, the 4 main traits, and you see how you do it with each of them. All right, I hope that helps. You can get in touch with me separately if you want. I can elaborate a little bit more.
Yeah, we will definitely be having you again in our Thursday talks.
Sure.
And then to tell a bit about our talks this week and other weeks, we are coming live on Facebook from Centrepoint here on the 4th floor. And then you could visit us on an open house. We have Sunday 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. We are having an open house over here at the Centrepoint on the 4th floor at the Tesco. And then what we have is we have a series of activities here actually, because we are all in a business, we are all in promoting each other's trade. And so we will have a TCM coming down this Sunday to do some knee therapy, and then sample massage, and then treatments. And we have some eye care. Those who don't want to age their eyes and look beautiful for the first impression, we have an eye care. We have an eye care specialist coming down also to giving eye spa treatments. So we have a number of opportunities that you can engage over here and interact. At the same time, of course, we are also promoting investment into Cambodia as well. So do join us for our open house coming Sunday 2 to 6 p.m. Centrepoint. I think all the details, we have it in the chat also. So you can get more details from our chat. And in the place where we have advertised on Facebook, LinkedIn, and then Instagram, YouTube, we will have all the details and updates regularly actually. Yeah. So all this is sponsored, and then we are presented by SAA under Morgan Singapore Group. So hope to see you again next Thursday. We will have other talks lined up. Yeah.
Sure. I look forward to being here again.
Sure.
As well.
Please. We
Okay.
will be definitely getting new topics, and then we will love to
Happy
have
to.
you again.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Good night.
Night.
Have a good evening, everybody.
In the 1st century AD, the Bonam dynasty established one united kingdom, and the history of Cambodia started. In the 9th century AD, the Angkor dynasty flourished and fostered the prosperity and national strength of Cambodia. The ancient country, boasting 2,000 years of history and civilization, which is long-lasting. Today, Standing at a new historical starting point, Cambodia is regaining its resplendence. Cambodia stands out as a hub of international strategies, with the Belt and Road Initiative is leveraging the potentials of incoming investment. The Trans-Asian Railway is the new trunk line for future development, with integration of ASEAN countries is to be a new summit of economic growth. Cambodia, known as the new economic tiger of Asia, is in the golden period of rapid development. It has reported an annual GDP growth of 7% for 9 consecutive years, ranking top 1 in Southeast Asia. Its splendid culture and enchanting history attract 4 million tourists from the world every year. Phnom Penh, the capital city, as a national center of economy, politics, and culture, holds more than 60% of Cambodia's economic resources. As a result, the real estate price of Phnom Penh is growing at a steady annual rate of 10 to 15%. Global investors are allured here, bridging the global economies. The fortune promised by Cambodia is self-evident.